Welcome to My MMA News Radio. Presented by MMA Signatures, featuring weekly special guests, ass-kicking interviews, fight results, and much, much more. Here are your hosts, Eric Kowal of MyMMANews.com and AJ Hiller of MMASignaturesUSA.com.
All right, welcome everybody to a very special first episode of 2018 to My MMA News Radio. I'm joined by my partner AJ Hiller. How were your holidays?
They were fantastic. Working retail most of my life, I never got to enjoy the holidays. So the past couple years, I've really been able to enjoy, Christmas and New Year's. So, it was great. We had a great time, especially this is the first year that our 14-month-old daughter really knew what was going on. So it was pretty...
Did she see the fat man in the red suit?
Of course she did. And, it's crazy because usually the kids are scared of him, Mm-hmm. She actually ran right up to him, and, it was great. We got some great pictures. And, of course, New Year's Eve, I was in bed by, I think, 10 p.m.
You didn't see the ball drop?
No.
You didn't stay up to watch Mariah Carey and all that?
No.
Justin Bieber, who else?
If you've seen one ball, you've seen them all. Right?
Let's try to keep it PG.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is our first show since before Christmas, and the day after Christmas, I did see you. We played dodgeball. Jim Miller, UFC lightweight Jim Miller, and the entire Miller Brothers crew in Sparta, New Jersey, invited us up for a dodgeball tournament. And I don't know about you, but I've never been, I don't say ever, but so sore for 2 or 3 days after, just from throwing a ball.
Yeah.
Maybe a minute long game.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my God.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you what, it was great. There was a lot of athletes there. I think our team was the least athletic team there, but we came in 4th place.
Yeah.
But
we won 3 games.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were actually the best and worst MMA news team that was there.
Yeah.
So
we should have won 4 games. I don't know if you guys watched the replay.
Yeah, but you're right.
Yeah. He was hit by the ball. He was hit.
Dan Miller needs to go to dodgeball referee school.
Yes. And we'll do it again. Miller Brothers, you're going down. You are. Oh, actually, we beat the... No, we lost to Jim.
We lost to Jim.
Yeah,
we beat Dan.
We did beat Dan.
But the My MMA News 2017 awards show is done. I want to thank everybody that voted. We had thousands and thousands of votes. All of our sponsors.
From one person.
One person.
No, I'm like...
actually, in one case, we actually did.
Right.
Somebody did cheat, but they were disqualified. And unfortunately for the fighter, it wasn't him who was cheating. It was a fan.
Right.
We got to the bottom of it. It was a fan that was trying to get his fighter to win.
Yeah.
But we traced down the IP address, and we saw that somebody cheated. And unfortunately, the fighter had to be disqualified due to somebody else.
You know what's crazy? In Major League Baseball, they do a fan where it's like a fan choice for the baseball player to make the All-Star team. And I remember years ago, probably 15 years ago now, Pat Burrell from the Philadelphia Phillies. There was people set up at the stadium, and they had their computers there, and they were voting after voting after voting after voting after voting, and trying to get him to make the All-Star team. And that was part of the thing. They could vote.
And what year was this?
This is going back. Well, Burrell. 99, 2000, maybe 2005.
There was no Wi-Fi. How were they doing it?
Well, then maybe it was sooner. Maybe it was. Maybe that's why. Yeah, I don't know. But we could look it up.
But yeah, we want to thank everybody that voted, and thank you, and to all of our sponsors, MMASignaturesUSA.com. They sponsored the Amateur Fighter and Pro Fighter of the Year. So I'm going to do a real quick rundown before we get into the show, just so everybody knows who the winners were for each category. The best matchmaker, overall matchmaker, and this was a very, very close race. Paul Matrasilva Jr. of PA Cage Fight comes in first, with Arias Garcia of Cage Fury Fighting Championships came in second. very close fight, or a very close race there for the matchmaker of the year. Paul's organization, PA Cage Fight, came in as the best overall MMA promotion. And that they kind of blew everybody out of the water. Got 33% of the votes there. Bob Maloney, congrats Bob Maloney, top MMA or MyMMAnews.com reporter. We had about 8 reporters going up for it. I took myself out of the competition just so that everybody else had a fair shot. I didn't want any votes to be coming towards me. Not that anybody would vote for me, but
I would have voted for you.
You would have?
Absolutely, absolutely.
But Bob Maloney got that, and Brian Jensen was close second. 21% for Bob, 19% for Brian. So that was very close. Podcast of the year. This one was a little bit of a landslide almost. Split Decision MMA podcast, 38%, and Nicotone MMA Radio came up towards the end. They were 34%, but the third, fourth, and fifth were down in the 15, 10, and 5%. So it was a big landslide for Split Decision MMA podcast. Fight of the year. I saw both of these fights live, and as much as I love Sean Santella, he's a great fighter. Believe he deserves to be in the UFC. I'm not sure that, in my personal opinion, great fight, great fighter, but I don't think it was the fight of the year for me.
Right.
But the fans voted it, and then there's nothing wrong with it. That's what it was for.
Right.
It was a contest, a poll. For me, the fight that I saw live, I'd say there's 2 different spectrums of it. The number one overall most hyped fight that I've ever seen live and regional was Sharif Jones and Will Martinez at Art of War 2.
Right.
That was just phenomenal. But one of the best fights I've ever seen was Scott Heckman versus Rob Sullivan, the first one.
Yeah. Even the second one was amazing.
The second one was great. But yeah, the first one was pretty close in the poll. I would have personally gave it to that fight as the number one, but Sean and Nate got it, and they both are going to get a prize pack from Enlisted 9 Fight Company.
Now I wasn't at that Shorty Rock fight. How did that turn out? Did he win by submission?
Yeah, he won by submission.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, he won by submission. A lot of it was contested on the ground, as in any Shorty Rock fight is.
Right.
It wasn't a bad fight. It was a great fight, but it was what I expected it out of that. For me, for the Heckman Sullivan, I didn't expect it to be a slugfest like it was.
Right. Because you're used to seeing Scott.
I'm used to seeing Scott taking somebody down and ground and pounding him out.
Right.
Or you're just grinding it out, and it was a different kind of fight. It was a different Heckman. Both great fights. So congrats to everybody there. Amateur Fighter of the Year. This was sponsored by your company, MMA Signatures. This was Ben Mosier, the Art of War Cage Fighting Championships bantamweight champion. 23% of the votes, I believe. Wow. I believe he had like over 1,000 votes.
Wow, good for him.
Pro Fighter of the Year. This one surprised me. And again, nothing against it. Lindsay, congrats to her, but going up against guys like Joe Lowry, Scott Heckman, Mike Trezano, Julio Arce, who's in the UFC now, Sean Brady, Tommy Espinoza. I did not see a 105-pound girl winning that. Congrats to her.
Yes.
She did.
She's the only female in the competition, and she won.
She won. So congrats to her.
Congrats. And I've been in touch with both of them, and guys, it's an honor to be able to give the award out for this. So thanks for reaching out, and good luck next year. This one
I think was one of the toughest categories when I look at it overall. Joe Lowry, tough kid, CFFC champion. You got Heckman, Trezano, who's just phenomenal. Last fight was in Bellator. Julio just went to the UFC. Sean Brady, another guy who's on his way to UFC, CFFC champion. And also Tommy Espinoza, who he was in there because he had 4 fights in 2017, MMA fights. Then he also had kickboxing fights.
Right.
So I think he was a very active fighter. But if I had to pick one, I probably would have given it to Trezano. Yeah. And I like Lowry and Brady as fighters are going to go like to the UFC. I think Trezano, he's at Bellator. He fought there. I think he can do like 2 or 3 more fights in Bellator and then go to the UFC. Yeah. But I would give it to Trezano just because He fought 4 times and won all of them.
Yeah.
Knockout of the year. This was a phenomenal knockout. Joe Pyfer, they call him Body Bags, knocked out Adam Mattia, Art of War Cage Fighting 4. And
that actually happened in December, right? So
did.
that was
it was like
last
the weekend,
minute.
the weekend before, the day before this went live.
Right.
And that was a scary knockout.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I looked for the footage. I still haven't seen the footage.
You haven't seen it?
No, but Adam's a good friend. He comes up to our gym quite often. He trains with a lot of the pros and amateurs out of the gym, and yeah, I just like Adam. I think he's just a good dude. And you just don't like to see that happening. But when you fight in this type of sport, guess what? It's going to happen, and I think that was the first time he's ever been stopped. Is that right?
I think so.
And
a lot of his fights when he does lose a decision.
Yeah, and he has a ton of amateur fights. So, hats off to what was his name? Pyfer.
Yeah, Joe
Pyfer. Because that's a hard name to pronounce. Any name that starts with a PF,
PY.
PY. You don't know where to go with that. But congratulations to Joe, because Adam's a tough dude, and I think that was only about a minute long, that fight.
Yeah. Submission of the year was Jim Fitzpatrick, a guy out of Miller Brothers, defeated Omar Kellum at PA Cage Fight via armbar. Again, another guy I like, but I'm not so sure this was, for me, the submission. And again, I removed myself from the poll, and I reserved the right to do this afterwards. I would have voted for Pat Sabatini, because you don't see many heel hooks.
No.
And he defended a title by a heel hook. So
right.
For me, that was it. Another one which was pulling up in the last minutes there, but and I think it should have did better. And I think the reason why it didn't do so high in the polling was because a lot of the New York fans didn't know about this. Was Daniel Rodriguez versus Carl Rodriguez. I commentated this fight with UFC fighter Shane Burgos, right. And this was a amateur fight, and at the last second, 1 second left in the fight, the guy who was losing the fight pulled off an armbar.
Really?
1 second left.
Wow.
He was on his way to losing a decision.
Was it Rodriguez?
Yeah. So Daniel was losing,
yeah.
and he ended up winning. 1 second left.
Yeah. And of course, we when these polls came out, you always have the people that you expect to win.
Yeah.
On a lot of these, so it was good to see a lot of people that, me personally, I may not know them personally, So of course, when I voted for people that I knew.
That you know. Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's
there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
It's a poll.
So a lot of these folks, I don't know, but I hope to meet someday. So congratulations to everybody.
We just have a couple more. Comeback of the year. This was a very deserving one. John Mabry. He was clinically declared dead. He had a drug problem. I interviewed him last year before his CFFC fight. He overdosed, and they brought him back to life. And he's been sober for a couple years. And he said, if he's going to be sober, what he wanted to do, get into mixed martial arts. And he fought. And he fought his first fight for CFFC, which is a major organization for this region. He fought there and he put on a good fight. So
good for him.
He won the comeback of the year.
Wow.
And that was kind of...
Now, did he fight before?
No. He never
Really?
trained martial... No.
Wow.
So
good for him.
Yeah. He had a drug issue and came back and just said, what am I going to do? And got healthy, got kicked, everything.
Wow. That's almost like Court McGee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So...
Well, congratulations, Sean.
Yeah. And fighter who's not in the UFC but should be in 2018. This was pretty unanimous for Sean Shorty Rock Santella. Flyweight champion in 3 different organizations in 2017.
Yeah. And we've talked about Shorty before, and how light the 125-pound division is in the UFC. And just in this area we have, Shorty, who's, no matter where Shorty goes, he's known. He's got a great gimmick. I don't even know if it's a gimmick with all the pink and stuff like that. but people would like him. You know,
Yeah.
I am shocked that the UFC is not picking up this kid and making him a superstar. You know?
Yeah, and the thing about that is that drives me nuts about it is that he comes from a camp that everybody knows.
Right.
And Jim fights every couple months.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
Jim could be in their ear. There's got to be something that we don't know.
Yeah.
Some kind of underlying issue.
Yeah.
But-
one thing we do know is he does have a career in dodgeball.
Yes.
You know, just in case the fighting thing doesn't work out, he's definitely the best.
He's the best 125-pound MMA dodgeball player.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Ring card girl of the year. This one was kind of a shocker, but I liked the way it ended because World Series of Fighting, which is now the Professional Fighters League,
Yeah.
they promoted the hell out of this for their girl, and she ended up winning. Emily Miller pulls off a 25%, beats the UFC girls Ariana Celeste, Brittany Palmer, Jenny Andrade.
Yeah.
There was also Bellator's Mercedes Terrell. So, congrats to Emily, and that does it for the poll.
That's awesome. You can leave that there.
What do you want to get into next? Let's talk about some UFC. What do you think about this fight? Kevin Lee, who fought Tony Ferguson for the interim lightweight title, says that if he was to fight Justin Gaethje, it would be an easy fight. And he said, this is the quote, "If it's going to be against Justin, I like easy money. Justin likes to take a lot of damage. I like to give him a lot of damage. It seems like a good match to me. I'm trying to look out for Justin's health, too. He needs some time, too. The man has taken a lot of bad beatings over the last couple months. I don't think he wants another one right here, right now. If he does, then so be it. But for now, I'm just taking my time. I'm still young in the game. I got a long time to go. I want to make some necessary changes to my camp. I've just changed management, too. There are going to be a lot of changes coming, and I think people are going to be excited about it."
Yeah. Now, Kevin Lee's a great guy. You know, he actually trains with one of my buddies out at the Mayweather gym, you know, with his boxing. That's where Kevin Lee does his boxing at. I think Justin Gaethje is amazing, you know, and even though he has this loss against Alvarez, I'd put an asterisk next to that loss because that was just an awesome fight. You know, every one of Justin's
So
fight.
can you do that for every fight?
No, just this one.
This
Just this one. Yeah, we'll put
No
the
asterisk for awesome fight doesn't count.
Maybe because did he really lose that fight? I mean, Justin, even coming off that loss, could go and headline his next fight. You know what I mean? And nobody would think anything about it because that's how good that fight was. And every one of Justin's fights are awesome. Would a Kevin Lee versus Justin Gaethje fight excite me? Probably not. You know, Justin, you want to put Justin in there against, you know, like somebody who's just gonna sit there and throw bombs. You know?
See, that was the thing. He fought Michael Johnson and ended up getting fight of the year on a lot of people's ballots. You know, but I did not expect going into that Michael Johnson was gonna give him the fight of the year. I thought Michael Johnson was gonna try to take him down and lay on him.
Yeah. The thing with Gaethje is he's gonna perform 1% better than the guy that he's fighting. You know,
1%.
1% better. And the reason that I say that, very few of Justin Gaethje's fights, you sit back and you say, you know what, he kicked the shit out of this guy. You know what I mean? Usually that was a phenomenal fight. That fight was awesome. Except for, you know, I mean, when he fought Rich Petishnak for the inaugural fight, I mean, that was a pretty quick finish, you know, but Rich took that on very short notice. Think of the Palomalu fights with Justin. You know, they were epic, both of them. You know, even when Justin came to the UFC and fought Johnson, Justin could have easily lost that fight twice. I think he was knocked down a couple times. You know, and you were just sitting there saying, "My God, this is over. This is over." And he comes back and knocks him out. You know, so the guy is just he always. That's why I say the 1% better than the fighter that he's fighting, because his fights, most of his fights are close and they're good fights, you know.
I think if they did fight, I would give it to Justin though. I think Justin would take that fight. I gotta ask you a question though before we go on to our next topic. I was gonna ask you in the beginning of the show,
Right.
but I forgot. We took 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
How many business ventures did you start now?
Well, we started a dodgeball league. My brain literally, my brain hurts, and I know it hurts my wife too, because always something is always popping. I'll be walking my dogs outside, and I see something, and then next thing I know, I'm starting
Dog shit business.
Yeah, the dog shit picking up business. But what I have gotten better at is thinking things through instead of.
Oh yeah, you wait like one day.
Yeah.
12 hours now.
Yeah, but no, just still going with what I got. How about you? Any business ventures with you?
No, not like you.
Yeah. You should. I live life on the edge.
Getting back to the fight news, Cyborg. She goes on social media and announces after her Nunes fight, or not her Nunes fight, the
Holly Holm
fight, that she's next gonna fight Megan Anderson.
Yeah.
She goes out there and puts it on social media, and Megan comes up and says, "What the heck are you talking about? Like, I wasn't offered this fight."
Yeah.
So she put out this, like, a UFC champion, her social media, her manager, whoever
it's supposed
puts
to
it
be
out.
next month or something,
Yeah,
right?
like, who does that? Like, it was so weird. But Megan shut it down completely. Then UFC president Dana White comes out and says, and kind of makes this announcement that all fans were hoping for. He wants to put Cyborg, the 145-pound champ, against Amanda Nunes, the 135-pound champ, for a super fight.
Right.
Amanda wants to fight. Cyborg says, no, Amanda's not deserving of it. There's other 145-pound contenders. It's like, come on. I mean, first you put out a fight that's not going to happen, and then you shut down a fight that everybody wants.
Right. So who's next? Who would next be in
She
line?
said Pam Sorensen. Pam Sorensen's not even in the UFC.
Right.
So, I don't know.
How about this? Holly Holm, right? She's had what I think 2 undeserving title fights. She's 1-4 in her last 5. If this was any other MMA fighter, they would be sitting home biting their nails, waiting for an email or a call from the UFC about their release.
Yeah.
What do they do with Holly Holm right now? And granted, I'm going to tell you what, in my eyes, Holly Holm has only won 2 of her UFC fights. One versus Ronda in devastating fashion, and one versus Betch. Now, was she beating Miesha Tate? Absolutely, but at the end of the day, she lost that fight. But think about her UFC debut. Was not impressive. Split decision win against Raquel Pennington. Now, Raquel is one heck of an opponent, but it wasn't an impressive fight. Her second fight.
I agree.
You know, so what do they do with this girl? Obviously, they're trying to push her.
I don't think they get rid of her because the fights that she's lost were pay-per-view headliners and title fights. You don't. It would be bad press for the UFC if they got rid of her. Right. I think what they're going to have to do is put her down.
I think they're going to probably give her a title shot now against Nunes. You know?
If they do, I don't think it would sell. But I don't know. I think she goes back down to 135, and if she loses a fight or 2 there, get rid of her.
Right.
But right now, she's kind of a draw. She's a star. They're not going to let her just go away to, say, a Bellator, because Bellator is going to pick her up right away.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. So I don't know. I think she goes to 135 again, and I think she gets a top 15, maybe not a top 10.
What is she ranked right now in
Can look it up. I mean, that's the thing. The thing is, she keeps jumping back and forth in between the two.
And there's not many 45-pounders out there. I mean, so really, as of right now, her when she fought Betch, that was a 135, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so she's 0-2 at 145, and she has 2 title shots.
Okay, so she's ranked number 2 in the bantamweight, even though she's not fighting there currently. And then the female featherweight isn't even available. There's no rankings.
Right. So she's 0-2 at 145, and both of those fights were title shots.
All right, so I would say you put her against somebody, let's see, I'm not sure when she wants to fight, and Kat wants to fight, but I mean, a Kat Zingano and Holly Holm fight would be...
That would be a great fight.
That would be a good fight, and it would be a draw.
Right.
Not the outcome. I'm saying it would be a draw as far as people watching it. I bet she already beat Betch. There's a Leslie Smith. Leslie has a fight booked.
How updated are these rankings?
This is every week.
You know what? I'm loving seeing this. Like the women's flyweight, seeing Lauren Murphy number 2. I love that because Lauren is such a great person. And when you know her personally and know every one of her UFC fights, they've never given her, never thrown her a bone. Just say, here, you know what? Here's a W.
So Sajara Eubanks is ranked number 1, and Nico Montana's the champion there in the flyweight division. Do you think they put Lauren against Sajara next?
That would be a great fight, or even Lauren against Nico. I think it'd be a great fight.
I think they're going to give Sajara the fight against Nico, even though she didn't make the weight.
Yeah.
I think they.
Well, that's because that was supposed to be the fight to begin with. Yeah.
But back to Bellator. The biggest news there is really that they have a fight card next week that's going up against the UFC. But other than that, longtime commentator Jimmy Smith let go by Bellator. It was kind of a mutual thing. Both parties announced statements. Smith goes on Joe Rogan's podcast, and Joe Rogan says, "I've been telling the UFC and Dana White for years to hire you.
Oh, wow.
They want you. They're interested in you. This type of thing." And then now Jimmy's saying this week he expects his new home to be announced this week. Is it going to be the UFC?
Wow, that'd be a great place for him because Jimmy does a great job.
So here's my theory. When the UFC let go of
Mike
Goldberg.
Oh, Mike Goldberg.
Mike Goldberg. Dana White went on record and said, "We're trying to bring in a guy. I've been wanting this guy for years." But then they brought in this Todd Grisham who,
can't even pronounce names.
Yeah, and then somebody else, they bring in these guys and they stay for 2 or 3 shows and they do odds and they never really announced who the guy is that Dana White wanted.
Right.
I'm thinking it was Jimmy Smith.
That'd be great.
Jimmy Smith, I think he comes in, him and Rogan, do it a little bit. Rogan's been trying to kind of not distance himself, but do less and less shows so he can do more of his stand-up comedian or his comedy and
wow.
So I think Smith is going to the UFC. We should probably hear it by the end of the week.
Right. And then I brought it up I guess accidentally, but so we got Mike Goldberg with Bellator. We have Sean Wheelock, who was with Bellator. He's now with the PFL, correct?
Wheelock kind of bounces around. I'm not sure if he is 100%. He does stuff with PFL, but I'm not sure if he's contracted with. And
I like Wheelock. Wheelock is a great guy.
Yeah.
Co-author of Art Davies' book, Is This Legal? And he's a great guy.
He does a couple different organizations, but he does PFL stuff. How about this news? Misha Tate. Pregnant.
Yes, I know. How shocked were you when you found out that it wasn't Don Fries?
Yeah. No, so here's the funny story. She announces this, and my phone starts going crazy.
Right.
People text me. I'm not going to say the fighter.
Right.
But everybody texting me, "Hey, is it such and such fighter? Is he the dad? Is he the dad?" And I'm like, "Oh, man."
Yeah.
Somebody we both know.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But no. But
asking if Don Fry was the dad?
No. If this regional person. UFC fighter is the father.
Wow.
But no, so he is not. The father is Johnny Nunes, or Johnny Nunes, I guess is how you say it. He was on the Ultimate Fighter twice. And if you remember the last season of Tough, not the one where they just crowned Nico the champion, the one before that where Johnny was on it, there was kind of Misha was a guest coach, and she was kind of playing favoritism towards Johnny. And you can kind of see the on-screen
Was
chemistry.
she still with Brian at the time?
That's the thing. Her and Brian kind of like split it up and never was really formally announced. Like MMA sites started picking up on it. People picked up on it. She never announced it. Brian never announced it. But there was Johnny enters the scene, and so now.
Wow. Well, congratulations, Misha. That's awesome. Right off.
We just did our TMZ story.
This kid is going to be a stud. You take two athletes of that caliber.
Well, she gets her mother's DNA.
Yeah. Picture this kid, right?
Johnny's a good guy.
But... But picture this. When Rhonda and Travis, and it's only a matter of time that they have a kid. Can you imagine this probably 18-pound baby, right?
18 pounds.
You never know. I mean, picture the DNA that this kid is going to have. Without a doubt, a Rhonda and Travis Brown baby will be a superstar. Huh?
We'll find out in 17 years.
Yeah.
Wait.
What, 17 years? Does that mean that she's pregnant?
Oh.
Do you know something that we don't know?
No.
Are you breaking some news here, Eric?
UFC this weekend. It's not a Saturday night card. It's a Sunday night card. Martin Luther King Jr. holidays on Monday. So maybe that's why they planned the event for Sunday night. But main event is Jeremy Stephens versus Do Ho Choi. Do you like it?
You know what? I love this fight because Jeremy Stephens he always comes to fight, and Do Ho Choi.
Yeah.
He's the Superboy, right?
Yeah.
This kid, I don't think every one of his fights he's knocked the guy out, right?
I think he finishes.
So somebody's getting knocked out.
It's an exciting fight, but I think the main event's kind of flying under the radar. I haven't seen much on it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other fights on the card that are getting press. Vitor Belfort, Uriah Hall.
Yeah. Now, who do you have for that fight?
For me, Uriah.
Yeah, I'm taking Uriah too all day. He's such a great guy. You've met Uriah several times. And Vitor, this is Vitor's last fight, I believe, under contract with the UFC.
Yeah.
And they threw him, a machine. Uriah Hall's no joke. So, part of you would like to see, Vitor go out on a high note. But at the end of the day, even though this is Vitor's last fight in the UFC, Vitor will fight for another organization. Win or lose. Yeah. So I'm still picking Hall 100%. But this next fight, what do you think? Van Zandt or Jesse Jess?
So, this... Number one, I think this is an interesting card because there's, I think, 4 female fights. And Van Zandt was supposed to fight if you remember.
Yes.
Supposed to fight like once or twice.
But she's afraid of Jessica.
Yeah, so then Jessica went on this like tirade against Paige.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to fight her.
But she should.
But now they're fighting on the same card. So this fight could have easily happened.
Right.
It could have happened. And I kind of wish it did because nothing against just Rose Clark or Clinda Faria, but Jessica I versus Paige Van Zandt fight interests me more.
Without it. That would have been the headline.
But in this fight, I'm actually going to go with Jessica Rose Clark.
Me too. I'm
gonna say she pulls out the. I don't know if I would call it an upset.
No, because Jess is no joke.
She's no joke. I don't think I would call it an upset. I think it would be upset in the eyes of the fans who don't really know, and they just see Paige Van Zandt for
her legs,
her stardom, and
But Jess, I mean, she's a beautiful girl. You know what I mean? Her background, if you know her background a little bit, she was involved with domestic, violence. Remember that last year or 2 years ago? And, you just like to see people like that flourish. And at the end of the day, Paige Van Zandt, even though she's a sweet girl and everything like that, she's been spoon-fed. Spoon-fed, Eric. The UFC took her, Sage Northcutt, a couple of these people, and tried to put them to the top real quick. I don't like when that happens. And, Jessie Jess, her first fight in the UFC was very short notice. She came in and pulled a huge upset. And, I like Jessie Jess, so I'm really hoping that she pulls this off.
Yeah, I think she does it. Kamaru Usman versus Emil Meek. Kamaru Usman is... this guy's a monster. I think he's one of the underrated fighters in the UFC.
Yeah. Is Emil still on the card, or did he get pulled from the card?
From last I saw, he's still on it. I know he was on visa issues.
Yeah.
But he ended up getting it because I remember he tweeted something like out to Usman saying like, it's bad news for you. I got the visa.
Well, that's awesome because I know Emil. I met him out in Italy.
Yeah.
He fought on the same card as Matt Hamill.
Yeah.
And what a
Venator.
great... Yeah, Venator.
Was it Venator or Bellator?
Venator. But, he was with us a lot out in Italy. Like when we go to the different events, they had it set up so him and Matt were, we're always in the same cars together, going to the event, to the weigh-ins, to this, to this, to this. And he's just a good guy. And I don't want to say he's like Conor McGregor, but he's got the UK behind this kid. And he trains with some studs too, So I like Emil. He won his UFC debut. So I'm gonna go with Emil. Who you got?
I got Usman.
Do you? Okay.
But nothing. And I think Emil can certainly do it. I just think Usman's the next guy. I think by early 2019 you see him fighting for a title.
Wow, good.
Michael Johnson, Darren Elkins.
This is a great fight.
Yeah, the whole card is actually pretty good. I'm going with Johnson on that one.
Yeah, I'd have to go with Johnson too.
And then here we go, Jessica Ai.
100% Jessica Ai. I'm a huge Jessica Ai fan. I will. It doesn't matter if Jessica was fighting my wife. I would go up again. I would take Jessica just because she's.
That's a weird thing to say.
I know. That's because my daughter's standing right there, so I wanted to see her face. But no, Jessica. She needs this win, Eric. She needs this win.
I'm not going to say she does, and here's why. It's her first fight in over a year and a half, and it's her first fight 125 pounds, and all 4 or 5 fights that she lost at 135, she wasn't finished.
Right.
They all went to a decision.
Yeah.
And the one was easily in her favor against Besh.
Yeah.
She could have won.
It could have went either way. But mentally, Jessica needs to win this fight.
I don't know if I think if the UFC matchmakers are smart, which I think they are, they see that Jessica can, even with a loss, can still be part of it.
Without a doubt. And Jessica, she almost fought Ronda Rousey for the title. She was on deck.
Yeah.
To fight Ronda for the title, and again, her and Lauren, same type of thing. They've never been given an easy fight, and so you're right. She's never been finished, but she needs this win in my eyes, and she's going to get this win.
Real quick, there's an Invicta FC 27 the night before the UFC. Saturday night, the main event is I think her name is Pani Kanziad is how you say it, versus Sarah Kaufman coming from the UFC.
And why would Sarah ever be released from the UFC?
She's not a huge draw.
No, but she what, did she lose 2 fights and they let her go?
Yeah, but that's the thing. And there's so much competition in coming up. They've got to switch people out, and there really wasn't really much for her there. I think she gets a few wins in Invicta. Invicta's kind of like a league that feeds you to the UFC. So you put her in Invicta. She goes there, does a couple fights, headlines a few cards, maybe wins a title, and then goes back to and then make her a draw. See what I'm saying? Like before she was a top level, kind of like a pioneer, but she wasn't a draw. Right. Now you make her a draw.
Yeah, because she was a champion in Strikeforce.
Yeah.
But at that time, think about the amount of fans now compared to when she was a champion. 5-6 years ago, 7 years ago, people didn't even. Most of the fans weren't even around during Strikeforce. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, I know what you're saying.
Well, that's a good point. But she's a world champion, and hopefully she wins this coming Saturday.
The Saturday. Yeah. The following weekend after this coming Sunday's UFC is the big UFC 220 pay-per-view, headlined by Miocic versus Ngannou.
I don't even see this fight going out of the first 2 minutes, let alone the first round. What do you think? Somebody's getting knocked out 100%. What do you think?
I mean, you would think so, but I'm just not. I don't know. I mean, every time I say that, it ends up going to like either a boring fight or it goes to the.
Well,
judges.
think about it. Stipe's not going to take him to the ground. Ngannou's not going to go to the ground.
No.
Somebody's getting knocked out. Ngannou, he broke the world record for hardest hit, right?
Was that like actually official though? Like, or
I think it was on one of those quarter games where you punch it.
Yeah.
No, I don't know what it was, to be honest with you. But Stipe could knock somebody out while going backwards.
They can both. They can both knock each other. I just don't know if they're going to go out there and like play rock'em sock'em. You know, I think they're going to try to be smart about it. There's a title here on the, you know, Miocic. Not only does he have his title, but he has to like a legacy. He could become like the best heavyweight of all time.
Of all time, yep.
And then Ngannou doesn't want to like. He kind of rose the ranks very fast, quickly. Kind of jumped the gun, maybe to some fighters that maybe think. I don't think he jumped the gun, but
he's
some
had
people.
5 or 6 UFC fights already.
Yeah, but like, I guess because of injuries.
Okay.
You know, Kane, he's getting the shot before Kane's fighting Stipe, but I think Ngannou is gonna play it a little smart because if he goes out there and tries to like knock his head off and he ends up getting knocked out in the first round, probably not gonna get a title shot for another year and a half, 2 years.
Well, for one thing, he's never fought anybody like Stipe. You know,
but he also has a lot of size over Stipe too. Stipe's not a huge heavyweight.
He's like 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah, he's not. But he's not.
What's Ngannou? 6'4", 6'5"?
Stipe's not like huge.
Yeah. If you had to take somebody in this fight, who would you take?
My heart says Stipe. I think just because of the caliber of fighters he's fought, but like you said, that punching power in Ngannou is scary. I don't know.
It's going to be a great fight without a doubt. And Bellator, what are you thinking? You know what? A huge heavyweight title fight. Let's put a card going right up against the UFC.
Here's the thing, though. It was funny about that. Bellator announced this card months ago.
Yeah.
If you remember, they had Rory McDonald in the black turtleneck out there against Lima. He looked like a serial killer. They stood there on the catwalk.
I do.
That was announced months ago before this fight, and before the DC Ozdemir fight. It was. I don't know. Bad luck for Bellator.
Wait a second. We didn't even talk about the DC
I know.
fight.
It's on the same card.
I know.
But yeah, bad news for Bellator. I think a lot of people are watching UFC.
Well, the thing is Bellator is known for doing their cards on Friday nights.
Yeah, I don't know why.
All of a sudden they say, you know what, let's throw a Saturday in
because
there.
I think they thought they had a big card here, and they didn't think that the UFC was going to put up a big card. The UFC's been doing a lot of...
But I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to be back and forth watching this because the title fight, Rory McDonald versus Douglas Lima, that's a great fight. Yeah. That is a great fight. Who do you have for this one? Me personally, I'm going with Lima.
I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah, I like Lima a lot.
I don't know. It really depends on if McDonald, like the old McDonald, can show up.
Old McDonald.
if old McDonald shows up, then yeah. But I don't know. I mean, Lima's good, but he's just never really like. I've never said I have to tune in to watch a Lima fight.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Nice guy, good. He's a champ, but he doesn't do it for me.
Yeah. I like Douglas.
Heavyweight Grand Prix, the start of it. Quentin Rampage Jackson versus Chael Sonnen.
Yeah. This should be a light heavyweight Grand Prix because neither one of these guys have ever even fought at heavyweight.
Rampage has fought at heavyweight.
Has he?
Yeah. But
recently?
In Bellator, yeah.
Yeah.
He goes back and forth, but these guys, in all reality, they're really heavyweights that cut to.
Right. 100%. I don't know if you agree with me on this. Chael's gonna take him down, and he's gonna beat him up. There's no way Chael sits there and bangs with Rampage. It's gonna be similar to.
Yeah, but
I love
Quentin
Chael.
doesn't have bad wrestling, and he's got a lot of size over Chael.
Yeah, but do you know
Quentin's bigger than Tito was and Vanderlei.
Well, I know.
Remember, this is a heavyweight, so
right.
is Chael going to really be able to take him down and hold him down?
I know as a light heavyweight, he used to cut from 260 down to 205. Rampage.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what he's walking around at now. He might come into this fight at 260, 265. Chael's a big dude. Chael's got to go 6'2", 6'3". You know, and I bet you Chael's going to come in at about 240. Do you remember what Chael did to Wanderlei Silva? I could see that.
There.
Yeah,
it was boring.
I could see the same thing happen. I'm a huge Chael fan. I love Chael. I could see the same thing happening where Chael brings him down, and he's smart, and he wins the fight. My pick for the heavyweight Grand Prix winner is Chael Sonnen.
No way.
Yeah.
No way. No way.
I'm telling you.
If that happens, I don't know. I'll make a bet with you. I don't know what I'm going to bet, but Chael Sonnen's not winning.
A 6-pack. We'll bet a 6-pack.
All right.
So you have how many guys are in this 8-man?
You're going to tell me that Chael Sonnen's going to beat Matt Mitrione or Fedor or Frank Mir
How do we even know that they even
or
make
Roy
it?
Nelson?
We don't even know if they're going to make it to that part. Well, obviously
He's got to fight one of them.
Yeah. I see Chael. Chael's almost like in his prime still.
No way.
I'm telling you. He's a strong guy. He's a wrestler. I don't know. You know, if Fedor takes out Mir, I could see Chael going up against Fedor, taking Fedor down, and beating Fedor up.
In that instance, yes. I could see him. Yeah, I could see that maybe.
Yeah.
But let's not jump the gun. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Chael is going to win the tournament, and I said it right here tonight.
Let's close out the show with a little bit of regional MMA. Maverick MMA 5, your guy headlining it.
Matt Hamill. We're going to get Matt Hamill a championship. He's going up against a Bellator veteran. And I'll tell you what, great job to Will, to Nee, to Bird for putting on such a great card. This Maverick 5 card is
three title fights. Title fights.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you what, whether you're a regional level or a national level, this fight has been better than some of the UFC and Bellator and World Series of Fighting cards that I've seen.
It's a pretty good fight lineup for the main event. Matt Hamill versus Mike Musatelli, and we're gonna interview Mike here in the coming weeks. And if Matt comes around, let us know. We'll come over.
We'll get Matt interview.
The co-main event, the regional
trilogy.
Boy,
this is a trilogy fight right here.
Heckman versus Justin Haas. For the featherweight strap, and
how about this? I never even knew that Jay's first name was Justin. I thought it was Jay. So when I see Justin Haas, I'm like, who the hell is this Justin guy? Jay Haas. So
yeah.
For those of you who don't know that Jay's real name is Justin, like myself, it's Justin Haas. But this is the third time they're fighting. They're 1-1, and it's going to be a great fight.
Then the middleweight title, the champion Joey Angelo, who defeated Chris Cortallo at Maverick MMA 3. He's fighting Eric Roncaroni.
Yeah.
He's defending against Roncaroni.
That's a crazy fight.
To think that's the middleweight fight, and that's it's going middleweight fight, featherweight fight, light heavyweight. That's the order. Pretty sad card. Angelo's coming in from Vegas. Spoke with him earlier this week. There's an interview with him on MyMMANews.com. And he actually said he thinks Roncaroni is the bigger, stronger fighter, and that he's a small middleweight, and he thinks Roncaroni. He admitted he thinks Roncaroni is going to have the advantage there in size and power.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, Joey, He's good on the ground. He's good on the feet.
Yeah, good fighter.
Yeah, it's going to be a good fight. And they're both great guys.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And I know, I always look at the positive thing. Oh, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. But these guys are truly both great guys.
So, interesting point about that. Joey, when he fought Maverick MMA 3 and won the title, it was September 30th. If you remember the big news the following day, October 1st, the Las Vegas shootings.
Oh, yes.
So, Joey is flying home back home to Las Vegas the day of the Las Vegas shootings. So, if you want to listen to that interview, go to MYMMANEWS.com, click on the interviews. There's an interview there, or search Joey Angelo. It'll come up, and you hear his thoughts on that, how it all went down for him. And he works in a law enforcement type job.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
2 more pro fights on the card. Rob Sullivan, who fought
Heckman twice
for the title, takes on Thad Frick.
I'm going to tell you what. This fight.
Coin toss.
Yeah, but one is a banger. The other one's a ground guy.
That's why it's a coin toss.
Yeah, so it's going to be a great fight. Or does Thad stay on the feet?
Which he's been doing.
Yeah.
And then the opening pro fight, not the opening fight on the card, but the opening pro fight, Patrick Rivera versus Ricky Nuno. I like this fight. And this is just an all-around good.
It's a great card.
Yeah, and it's the Econo Lodge.
Yeah. How about $45 a night for a room? Do you realize that?
Is it really?
$45 a night.
Wow.
Yeah.
You can rent it for the hour.
I know.
Make some money.
Yeah.
There you go. There's another business for you.
Thank you. I'm going to open up an LLC. But yeah, guys, check out this card. We're very excited to have Matt as the headline. And hopefully we get him a championship. But at the end of the day, Mike, Bellator vet, he's got a great record, 7-3. He's fought Liam McGeary from Bellator.
Yeah.
And Liam is no joke. I mean, Liam, in my eyes, is probably one of the top 5 light heavyweights in the world. And so it's going to be a great fight, and we're really looking forward to it. And great job to the team at Maverick for putting on a great show.
So we're going to close out the show. Before we let you go, though, this weekend you have a fight card coming up. One last chance to plug it.
All right, Gender Wars MMA. First time ever, a guy versus a girl. We have Tess versus Trent in our main event. We also have Wes Sims versus Travis View in our co-main event, and Jerry Myers versus Shannon Rich in our opening bout. It's been a lot of fun doing this, and I don't want anybody to get the wrong impression or anything like this. We looked outside of the box. We wanted to do something different. If you're watching it, which I hope you do, you can go to inplayer.com to check it out. It's going to be awesome. We have a lot of great things planned, and we're also working on the second Gender Wars 2, which will be in April. But check it out. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I actually fly out tomorrow, Wednesday. So pretty excited about that. And thanks for all the sponsors of the event. Thanks for all of our affiliates for Gender Wars. And just get ready, because this is only the beginning.
And then last but not least, we want to thank our sponsors, Combo Hitter. It was created by former UFC fighter Brad Kohler, who's your partner in Gender Wars. You want to check them out, visit combohitter.com. It's a safer, easier way to train. It's easier on the wrist, lighter on the wrist. You have one in your gym?
Yeah, right? I have 3 in my gym.
You have 3 in your gym?
Yeah, and they are amazing. They're absolutely amazing. It takes away a couple different bags. It's you could utilize it as a speed bag, an uppercut bag. It's great for hooks. It's great for elbows. It's great for knees. It's great for a lot of different things. So check them out at combohitter.com. Campbell's Tree Service, 3 generations of tree service, landscaping, excavating. Give Andy a call, 570-595-2190. Forza Sports. I was down at their warehouse maybe 2 weeks ago. Oh my God, this place is massive, Eric. It is. We're gonna have to go down because it's not far.
Let's do a show from there.
Yeah, it's not far from you. They actually just opened up their first retail location as well. What they would do is they had a retail section in their warehouse, but they would only open it up like once every month, where people could come in and buy. But now they just opened up their first retail place. This warehouse is massive. It's about 150,000 square foot. And you walk in, I'm an MMA memorabilia collector. You see autographs of Muhammad Ali, fight-worn robe, Bernard Hopkins, sign.
Wow.
But that's just when you're walking through the office. But once you get to the warehouse, the warehouse is massive, and they carry all major brands. I mean, Title, Century, Everlast, you name it, they have it. Wraps, gloves, MMA, boxing, all kinds of other sports as well. So ForzaSports.com, use coupon code MMA News and receive a great discount.
And then Pull No Punches Apparel, visit pullnopunchesapparel.com. And lastly, Yulo Chiropractic, 856-269-4567, dreulo.com. We want to thank you all for tuning in this week, and hope you enjoy the fights next week. This week, Invicta, UFC, and we'll talk about them next week.
Yes.
See you next week.
Have a great weekend.